Well, good afternoon, and it seemed a little bit too sad and somber to use George Harrison's The Art of Dying for this video, so I've decided to use the Moody Blues Journey Out and In, which, given it was the 1960s, could be a journey of anything, with anything, using anything. So let's skip that because this is a family show. Anyway, this is the new DA-42 MPP or Guardian or ISTAR Information, Surveillance, Targeting, Acquisition and Reconnaissance Aircraft, which is replacing the DHC-6 ISTAR aircraft, which provide communication nodes and information surveillance targeting. This is an uncrewed aerial vehicle, crewed from one of these little boxes, or this is one of the relays to the bigger box where the crew sits. It's very economical, made of composite materials. This is the SOVA-M kit, which is pretty much the same as the A-Star kit, but SOVA-M tend to do the military versions. It's not armed. It does, however, come with good sensors. So we've got a forward-looking EO/IR sensor. We've got one under the belly as well in a pod. The aircraft is made of composites in real life. It's extremely light, extremely durable, extremely good range on these, 1,225 nautical miles, which is pretty good for light aircraft. But most importantly, without any fuel tanks being added, its endurance is 13 hours. So 3 of these can provide pretty much 24-hour around the clock surveillance and overwatch to troops. Now, the main difference, of course, is that you're not putting crews in the way of enemy fire. Whereas the DHC-6, you've got the risk of an aircraft crashing or getting shot down. You haven't got so much risk associated with the DA-42. Yes, the data links do need to be secure, and that is one difference. You've got to have secure data links, because if your data links got jammed, you could lose the feed from the aircraft and or you could lose the aircraft, although it will have a self-recovery feature using its internal navigation, which would bring it back, like the ones the Russians have jammed in and around Ukraine, back to a friendly base. That happened with an RQ-4. So the role of the aircraft is to provide more cost-effective surveillance, and there will be a DA-42 comms node aircraft, which I'm building as well. And the comms node will go slightly further back. So the way this will work is, here is the forward edge of battle area, whether it's a flexible one, a fast-moving one, counter-insurgency, counter-terrorist one. There'll always be a point where you've got some clear ground, and then you've got some ground where your own troops are, the forward line of your troops, where the fighting is. Now, that could be fragmented, it could be, like I said, fast moving, it could be stalemate, essentially, like the war in Ukraine. Although the Russians are breaking through, if you're not aware, you do need to keep notice of that. Now, the DA-42 is the first link in the chain, the ISTAR aircraft. The idea for that is it's providing observation, reconnaissance, acquisition and targeting for your ground nodes, your effectors, your troops, your tanks, your artillery systems, your rockets. The next node will be the DA-42 communications node, and that's further back. Now, the good thing about the DA-42 compared to the DHC-6 is, whilst it loses the stall performance and the rough field performance, it can operate at 30,000 feet. It doesn't need supplementary oxygen to get up there, and it's got a higher service ceiling than the DHC-6. It's also got double the range as standard, even without tanks. So these can then go 30,000 feet and go further back from the danger area where your enemy's surface-to-air systems, and even in counter-insurgency, we've got the proliferation of modern systems. You've got to consider that as a dangerous area. The next link in the chain is the ERJ-145. I've done a video on that. Check back in the history and you'll find that. And the one I'm building at the minute is the G550. And that's the command aircraft, the battle space command aircraft, and that goes further back still, and they can operate at 51,000 feet. Everything is then data linked in with ground communication data link sensors. And the idea is that commanders on the ground and commanders in the air can get a real-time picture of the battlefield, and they can deploy the resources effectively. In a way, you don't want to get into a stalemate situation like the war of attrition in Ukraine, which Russia is undoubtedly winning, because it's costly. And if you can avoid that attrition, pick out your enemy's weak spots, deploy your resources effectively. That's really what the Malagasy What-Ifians are looking to do. They don't want to be in a peer-to-peer war, but they have the ability to deliver a very effective use of force for a limited cost, and that's so important now. The aircraft is finished in Dulux Stealth Magnolia, which is a Valley Hope light gold grey. It's a lovely little build, these SOVA-M A-STAR kits. A-STAR does the civilian version, equally can be used in the military role as the DA-42 Guardian. I wish they did a DA-62 kit, but I absolutely love this little build. Fantastic little aircraft. There's the antenna on the back for the satellite links. It will have communications gear here where there's no crew. It could even have an extra fuel tank. Lots of options for this aircraft. A very, very good ISTAR aircraft, and for me, the journey out and in.